Hey guys, it's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome to All Things Green Month for 2000 March of 2017. This month, we're going to be reviewing all movies that have either the word green in it or films that have green characters. There's a lot of green characters, so we're going to get started with a 1994 comedy action classic from the 90s with Jim Carrey, The Mask. Yes, I don't have the film on DVD, but I will get it someday because I used to watch this movie all the time in my aunt's house when I was 9 years old. It came out at the perfect time before the superhero boom of today, where every single Marvel and DC movie is getting made now. But this is when it started. This was like in the heyday of the 90s, in the mid 90s, when Jim Carrey was big business. Especially in 94 was his best year because you had the Mask, you had Dumb and Dumber, and you had the I think the first Ace Ventura. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so he had a hell of a year, and then a year later he was the Riddler in Batman Forever. So I'm not gonna be reviewing that though. I already did. But this is the Mask, the first one. Fuck the sequel, right in the face. I already did a rant on that movie last year. It's a piece of shit. It's not a good follow up to the first one because it missed the mark on every count. But this is the original Mask. Jim Carrey is great. He made a great Stanley Ipkiss in the movie. He was very likable. He's enthusiastic. He's a hopeless romantic in the film, and I can relate to his character. I did when I was a kid, and I did as an adult. When he puts on the mask, he becomes fired up. The yellow suit and his catchphrases like "smoking" and "somebody stop me." I love this movie. Just this is one of the best '90s comic book movies. That yeah, people didn't know this was a comic. I read the comic of this character. It was actually bloodier than the original film. The original comic, in the original comic, Peggy dies in the comic. In this movie, she just walks away with a briefcase when she sells out Stanley, halfway through the film. Spoiler alert. But it's got a great cast. You got Jim Carrey. You have freaking Cameron Diaz, introducing Cameron Diaz in her first feature film. This is the sexiest she's looked in her entire career. That red dress and the slow mo of her hair flowing and those beautiful eyes. I mean, this is the quintessential film to see with Cameron Diaz. She's just so sexy in this movie. When she's at the Coco Bongo and she's in that golden dress, I'm like, oh my god. And I was 9 years old, and I was like, damn, that's a beautiful woman. And now that I'm in my 30s, yeah, absolutely stunning. This is the most beautiful. I miss this Cameron Diaz. This is the Cameron Diaz that gave a performance that was had this very soft and graceful voice that I just miss nowadays. Like she hasn't done a great movie since Night and Day. That was like the last good movie she made. But she was really good here. The guy that plays Dorian, I forgot his name. But there's a lot of people in the cast that I like besides Jim Carrey and Cameron Diaz. You also have who else is in it? I forgot. There's a black guy in it that dies. I forgot the cast. So, just I know the two leads. That's mostly why I see the film. Pretty much. There's the dog, Milo, who's a very cute dog. It's a Russell Terrier. It's very cute. It's very well trained. It's a likable character. And when he puts on the mask and he smiles, the special effects still look good. To this day, those effects in '94 look better than any effects in Son of the Mask or half of the comic book movies nowadays. It doesn't look laughable. It's a mix of practical and CGI. Early in the '90s, with the big bulging eyes and the tongue, and when he howls as like a wolf in the Coco Bongo. Just really good effects. The makeup is really well done on Jim Carrey's face. Um, it's just it's a very funny movie. Like a lot of the jokes hit very well. Carrey has some good comedic timing. He breaks the fourth wall a lot, looks at the camera, which is great. This is years before Deadpool came out. And it was PG-13, but it worked. This was not a pussified PG-13. They cursed in this movie. There's blood in the movie at times. It does get dark at times, especially when Dorian later in the film gets the mask and puts it on before they're about to kill Stanley, which they don't. And there's this dark cloud around him, and he's not wacky and crazy. He's very dark. And there's a deep force. He even kills a man by swallowing his bullets and spitting it back at him like boom, 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 boom. I saw that as a kid, and that didn't scar me. There's a lot of good stuff in the movie. Like, just it's really short. It's not 2 hours long, so it's not a big investment of your time. It's about 90, 95 minutes, close to 100 minutes, but it's well paced. It's not like it's boring at times. The love story works. I think just like in Deadpool, Stanley and Tina, they work very well together. Their characters are very likable. So when they get together, you buy it. It's not forced like in these stupid comic book movies where they have to like shoehorn in a romance, which doesn't work. Here it works. It's very well done. Jim Carrey is awesome. The film is zany. I love the scene with the even the soundtrack is great in the freaking movie. Like the don't do tonight. I love that scene. The scene where he's dying in that guy's arms, and it's like, you love me, you really love me. See, it's great. I miss that Jim Carrey. I miss that Cameron Diaz. The energy, the pizzazz, the freaking timing. Just Cuban Pete when he dresses as a freaking Cuban dancer and he's shaking the maracas. It's like they call me Cuban Pete. I'm the king of the rumba beat. When I play my maracas, I go cheek cheeky boom, cheek cheeky boom. Awesome freaking stuff. I'm not even a fan of Spanish music, but that Jim just knocked it out of the park. No other person could have played this role. Nobody at the time or even today. You could not remake this movie with like Jake Gyllenhaal or with freaking Liam Hemsworth or who's crazy now. Even Seth Rogen, he's a Canadian, just like Jim Carrey. I didn't know Jim Carrey was Canadian until many years later. He couldn't do this because this was a one-time performance. There's a reason did not get a proper sequel with Jim Carrey coming back. Because Ace Ventura did, Dumb and Dumber did. This didn't. But this movie stands on its own 2 feet. Screw the freaking Son of the Mask. I hate that movie with a passion because it missed the point of what made the first movie funny. This film wasn't creepy and scary like that movie was. This is funny, really good effects, really good characters. I was invested in the story. Rogue One. Yeah, I'm gonna keep stabbing at that movie because it made me miserable this year. This movie makes me smile. It has a lot of energy, just really good timing. Without Jim Carrey, this movie could not work. If it was another actor, I probably wouldn't buy it. He would either be incredibly annoying and loud, or if it was some foreign guy with a fake American accent, that would have just killed it for me. But Carrie's great. It's a funny movie. It's very memorable. Oh yeah, Ben Stein is in the movie. He plays a psychologist. That he's like Loki is the Greek god of mischief, Mister Ipkiss. Yeah, he has the most boring voice in the world, and it's still a better performance than freaking Felicity Jones or any of those actors in Rogue One. Gonna say it right now. There's a reason that Ben Stein got a lot of work because his voice is kind of intriguing. Go as yourself and the mask. That voice would have bored me to death if I was like 30 and I saw the movie back in 94. But because Ben Stein has this like really mellow, quiet, voice, it didn't bother me. He didn't bother me in the few scenes he's with Jim Carrey in the office when he's trying to put the mask on and he's going because he can't change in front of people. And it's just a fun movie. Like I just love the effects in the movie. I love the story. Dorian is a good villain. He's not a forgettable villain like in Suicide Squad or Batman v Superman or Civil War. He's a fun villain. He's a villain that I actually don't mind the actor that plays him. I forgot the cast. I know Amy Yazbek is in it. She's the redhead that plays Peggy. Very cute actress. I really like her. The guy that plays the cop, he was in Animal House. I forgot his name. I think it's Peter Reigertz or something like that. He's really funny in the movie because he's a hard edged cop. And I remember Doyle, the fat guy that's with him. He just like he's yelling at him all the time. He's just really good actors. I miss it. Even Mrs. Piedman, she's a memorable character. The landlady that's in Stanley Ipkiss's apartment. She's hilarious. Like the scene where she screams and then his eyes bulge out and he jumps out the window. Good stuff, man. I miss the 90s, man. I was a kid. I was carefree. I watched that movie on VHS. I saw it on TV when it was like ABC or Fox or whatever. It's a really good movie. And he's green, so it counts. And Carrey just sold it. This is one of his best roles. And it's my friend's favorite Jim Carrey movie. Good choice, man. Good choice. It's a movie that stands on its own 2 feet. The story works, the effects work, the character works, the freaking romance works. The scenes where they kiss, they have a lot of chemistry. Jim Carrey and Cameron Diaz. Sad they never did another film together because they had a spark, just like Ryan Reynolds and Marina Baccarin in Deadpool. But there's no gore. There's no like gore in the movie. There's not like you don't see the mask. Like he's not a violent character. He's very zany and wacky. He had guns, but it says bang. He doesn't shoot anybody. He doesn't. He's not a killer. He's zany. And the I love that. That's just hilarious when he kisses that old woman after he does the Cuban Pete scene. There's a lot of memorable things in this movie. Just it's so awesome. I really love this film. It's not my favorite comic book movie because there was no it didn't become like a major franchise. There was one good movie because I'm disregarding the sequel. The comic was really good, and the cartoon it had its moments. Rob Paulson is definitely no Jim Carrey, but I liked it because it was the character again, and it made me laugh, and it had some really cool ideas in it. So I like the cartoon. It was at least ambitious, unlike the sequel. But The Mask is a good movie. Definitely a great way to start all things green because I really enjoy it. I mean, I need to get it on DVD because this movie is amazing, and it's one of the reasons I love film because I love it when an actor, no matter what he is, just gives it all he's got, and it works. And let's face it, after this, Jim Carrey was basically putting that manic energy into almost every comedic performance he did. Dumb and Dumber, Liar Liar, the clips I've seen of those movies. Even The Grinch, when he did The Grinch in the year 2000, he has that energy. He just has this pizzazz. He has this pizzazz screen presence that a lot of actors do not have today. So I can say that without freaking question. And this movie is awesome. It's definitely a solid 90s film. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you see. If you haven't seen The Mask, get off your ass and watch it on Netflix or download it, watch it on YouTube, get the Blu-ray or DVD because you can find it ultra cheap online. It's a really worthwhile movie, and it's definitely a childhood favorite of mine. So thanks for watching, guys. Later, and I will see you in the next video. Take it easy.